Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Bruce here, traveling with Bruce, putting a voiceover over myself, enjoying a lovely little Diet Coke in the business lounge at the Calgary International Airport. Jennifer and I were able to upgrade our economy seats on Air Canada to the business class area known as the Signature class, and oh, did we like it. This is pretty nice. If you ever get an opportunity to do an upgrade like we did, take advantage of it. We ended up here in London, England, and oh my, we saw really neat stuff. We've had a really great time here. You end up in this area near Waterloo Station with a beautiful rainbow, but it didn't start that way. Let me show you how it began. Up and away we went. I'll tell you, it was a wet, rainy night in Calgary, leaving town here, but man, what a beautiful plane. We were on a 787 Dreamliner up in Signature class. The food was great. The service was great. We could put our seats back with the leg rests and the lie flat bed. I even got some sleep. Jennifer got some sleep. And we really enjoyed that flight. I got to tell you, that's the way to go on an 8-9 hour flight. Once, of course, in London, you figure out how to get to your airport, your hotel, which we did via our cab. And we ended up with a pub just across the street. And after a few hours of resting up, we enjoyed a little libation and some fish and chips and did our thing. The next morning, we walked around our hotel area knowing that we were a couple of blocks away from this place, the Waterloo Station, the rail station. This is one of England's, or certainly London's, top 3 or 4 busiest, and pretty neat four-way clock up here in the middle of the terminal. And all I did was just stood in the middle of the thing, and I did one of those amateurish iPhone 360 routines here. You saw Jennifer's hand there holding the boots bag. And here I am just sort of showing you the scope and size of this place. It is massive. You have the subway lines coming here, buses coming here, all kinds of trains in and out of here. And the message board is up there showing all the folks, the trains that are different platforms. And I'll slowly pan around. You can see just how many people are here, and all kinds of shops, which is fantastic. You can pick up anything you want, including, of course, chocolate. There you go, the hotel chocolate right in the middle of the station. There's chocolate everywhere in London. You gotta love it. Cafes and quick pizza joints. Subway places, nibble, whatever you need. Lots to do here. This is really unique, and the area we're in is right near the London Eye. And I took a photo here of myself just a block away from it. Apparently, you want to take the London Eye. It's £38 a person And apparently that has solved the lineup problem. There used to be hours and hours of lineups because it didn't cost that much, and now it does. Here's a shot from our hotel room in the evening. Of course, the first 3 or 4 days you're in London, you're trying to adjust to the time, so you're up in the middle of the night. The moon was out. It was beautiful. We went wherever we're going. We've given up, and it's not like we've given up, but we just aren't taking the subways anymore. You know what it is? We're 67, 68 years old, and frankly, we can afford to take cabs or Ubers wherever we need to go, and that's the way it's going to be now. We're not going to run around with our heads cut off and try to catch subways and figure out the grids and the timing and the Oyster cards and all that stuff. I'm leaving all that to the young kids out there and adults in their 20s and 30s and 40s. Knock yourself out. If you're on a budget, of course, take the underground, take the buses, knock yourself out. But you know what? I just don't care anymore. We frankly are just going to do the Uber thing. We went on this boat ride on the river, the Thames River. I'll highly recommend it. By the time we got on the boat, and we were not interested in being on the top deck because there had been shower activity all day. So we went inside and sat in the front row, right in the middle of this ship. And here was what everyone calls Big Ben. It's the Westminster clock tower with the bell inside known as Big Ben. And you're just sitting there getting ready to go, and I thought, let me show you just, an amateur's version of what this looks like. Here's one of these other boats coming in front of us. They have their own thrusters, and they can go sideways, and they can turn on a dime, and the guys and gals who run these boats are pretty darn good. They're very professional, very polite, and very informative. They would give you kind of a running commentary of what we're seeing and where we're going and where we're headed next. And I really enjoyed it. I would highly recommend it for about 15 to 20 pounds a person. You can take these 2 to 3 hour tours. We went from the Westminster spot, which is right here where the House of Parliament is, up to Greenwich, however you want to pronounce it, Greenwich, I guess. We had to stop a couple of times on the way up. And once you got off Greenwich, we could spend all the time we wanted up there, 10 minutes, an hour, 3 hours. We had from approximately 10 in the morning until 6 in the evening to take this boat tour. And here's the London Eye, just barely 3-4 blocks from our hotel where we were staying. And we haven't been on this thing. We really don't want to be on it. We're at the Park Plaza Hotel near Waterloo Station. It's a Radisson property. We're very happy with it. Quiet here, absolutely fantastic. But yeah, the boat, it turns around, does a 180 after it leaves the dock. You start heading upriver, and one of the staff members begins to tell you what you're looking at and what you're seeing and this kind of thing. You'll see here in just a minute a monument. There it is, this Golden Eagle monument. This is a tribute to all the RAF flyers, all those men and women who dedicated their lives to defending Britain against the Blitz, the air raids, and the fighter pilots and so on. You come across, of course, a number of bridges. We come up to them and go under them. Each one is, of course, it's named differently. This one here is the bridge they opened up for the Millennium, I believe. There's a walkway on either side of the bridge that has been put up with those white suspension-looking poles there. So now pedestrians can walk across this particular bridge from either way. Tourists everywhere in London. We are back, baby. COVID is over, and we're back at it again, and families all over the place. It's quite something to see. In our hotel, there are just a ton of mom and dads and children. Of course, at our age, being seniors, when I hate saying the word, but we are, Being seniors, you are real observers of life, and you certainly can tell which of the kids have been given the talking to and which ones can do whatever the hell they want. And boy, is it ever a pleasure when you see a family of 3 or 4 or 5 and the children are just super polite and very attentive and don't scream for whatever reason. It's great. I find it amazing how many young couples come to London with infants. Man, are they putting themselves out for a long day. London is great for kids if the kids are 6 and older, 8 and older, 10 and older, and are curious and really interested. But if you've got a toddler, you got an infant, man, I think you're wasting your time. You are using energy to tend to your child, and you are missing out on all the little things that London has to offer. But hey, we all go through our stages in life over the years, and we figure it out and kind of go from there. Being seniors now, we can just, look around and make our own determinations. By the way, that building there is the theater, the National Theater, voted the ugliest building in the United Kingdom 10 years in a row. It's a disgrace. It's just a big concrete bunker. It looks awful. But when you're our age, you really get to enjoy the little things now. We are people observers. We love this city. Here's the London Bridge. Absolutely incredible. With the Shard behind it there. Absolutely amazing. You get to see this. You don't see this stuff in your hometown in North America. This ancient... some of these structures are so old and have been very well maintained. Absolutely a pleasure to see and be around and photograph. It is something else. London is clean. Really, you feel really safe in London. The inner city area, it's probably, 20% of all of London. I think this is expanding to 60% of all of London. You cannot come into the downtown core unless your vehicle is a low emission vehicle. And let me tell you, the difference is stunning. We were here in, Jennifer and I and Jennifer Jr., we were down here in 1999, and the diesel fumes coming off of the buses and the racket and the trucks and all the cars spewing fumes, it was awful. Here, this time around, it is so clear. It is really a pleasure. And the taxis run really silently. We took a number of Ubers. And generally speaking, you get a Nissan Leaf coming to get you. And it's super quiet. Look at that thing. There's a cable car going over the river. That was originally sponsored by Emirates Airlines. I'm not sure if it still is, but that was built for the Millennium. And a moment earlier, you saw the Millennium facility there. That's where the Monty Python folks did their 10-night run to say goodbye to everybody. Their final go. This is Greenwich. We were here for maybe an hour. We just walked around a little bit, stretched our legs. We did not go to any museums. We didn't see any of the sites. You can spend days here if you want to. This is a military naval college here. Beautiful grounds, wide open. You can walk around and take it all in. I cannot tell you who that is, the statue. We just didn't have time. When you're our age, you can't run around like those kids down there running up and down the steps and looking at everything. And generally, they're not giving a crap about what they're looking at anyway. They're just getting their exercise. But at our age, you limit your timing. Saw this old steamer, this what looked like an old riverboat. It's just a replica, folks. It's all pretend. It has theoretically paddle wheels on the back, but they're not operating. They just sit there. There's actually just a diesel motor pushing this thing through the water. But nonetheless, it was kind of cool to see. I noticed these all over the place, these Uber boats. Quick. They are basically twin-hulled vessels and are very fast. And they go plying up and down the river, more for speed than for sightseeing. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, the water, at the time we were there, the tide was going out. So the river was heading out to sea and in a hurry because the tide was low and the water was draining out. This is the Cutty Sark, the big sail ship. I zoomed in on the front of her here and noticed this thingy hanging off the front holding some kind of, looks like someone's head has been scalped or something. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Anyway, I came fairly close to it. You can go on this ship if you like, if you've got the time. We saw people trying to climb the ropes. You're allowed to actually climb the ropes and go up to one of those masts and stand up there. No, thank you, I say. Not interested. But I zoomed in on this ship a little bit just to give you an idea how many of these ropes there are. There's that. I don't know what to call that. So you guys might know, you're naval fans, what that is in the front there, that gal. But there's people on there. You can barely see them. And all the ropes. I know there are people who know the names of every single rope on a ship like this. And I say, God bless you for it. But I don't care. Here is a shot coming back now. There's the London Bridge. Notice the drawbridge is up. They said that they were doing maintenance on the ship at a certain time for the rest of the day, and the drawbridge would be up for the rest of the day, and that was a photo op. So I thought, okay, I'll do that with my camera. And so no crossing that bridge for the rest of the day. But kind of neat. There's that Shard building, the tallest building in Europe. Over 1,000 feet tall, and apparently there is an observation deck somewhere up there, and if you want to go up there, you're talking almost 30 pounds a person, which would be, what would that be, about $38 American to go up and get a view. I'm sure it's nice, but not necessary. You ever get a chance to come to London, do not come here for 3 or 4 days. You are ripping yourself off. You have got to come here for a minimum a week, if not really 2 weeks. And you're asking yourself, Bruce, come on, 2 weeks? What the hell am I going to do in London for 2 weeks? Let me tell you, you will adapt very quickly to this city and this town. You will avoid places like this, though, after a couple of days. This is Westminster. The big clock here, Big Ben inside there, the big bell. This has just been renovated. This entire structure was covered in scaffolding up until a few months ago, and it's almost all gone except for the very bottom down there. These are the Houses of Parliament, and there are tourists galore. I purposely wanted to show you the mayhem of what this actually looks like. This is a Saturday on a long weekend in August 2023. And there's a banker's holiday coming up in a couple of days, and there's a lot of people in town, and man, it's unbelievable. Bicycles, cars, tuk-tuks, Ubers, cabs, underground, double-decker buses, hop-on, hop-off buses. It is insane. Look at the people back there. I tried to give you a sense of just how unbelievably crowded this is. There's a guy playing a saxophone. I've muted him so you won't be perturbed. It's absolutely amazing. The millions of people coming in a year. You cannot come here for 3 days and be these people. If you come here for 3 or 4 days, you will be these people, and you will not like it. You will kind of go, well, geez, it's really crowded and it's kind of noisy, and I was in a hurry all the time. This is not what you want to do. You really want to go into the smaller areas of London. There's history around every corner. The parks and the little squares and the unique shops. You want to take time to go to some cafes, go to a pub or two. This town is worthy of a nice long trip. Anyway, this is the first of a series of videos for 2023 that we're putting out here, Jen and I, as we begin our vacation, and hope you liked it. Please give it a thumbs up if you do, and we'll keep you posted on how the trip goes. Talk to you later, everybody.